joint pain, poor circulation, inflammation, and even insect bites. These are issues that affect us all at some point. But did you know the most effective solutions might already be in your kitchen? In today's video, we'll explore 7 natural remedies shared by health expert Barbara O'Neill. Whether it's a simple remedy for congestion or ulcers, we've got you covered. These remedies harness nature's healing power to soothe, detoxify, and rejuvenate. And if you stick around, we'll share how these remedies work so you can make them part of your wellness routine. Let's dive into these incredible home remedies and see how each of them can naturally improve your health. Onions are a natural anti-inflammatory powerhouse, rich in sulfur compounds and antioxidants such as quercetin. They help reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and eliminate toxins from the body.
You can use onion cooked or you can use it raw. And the cooked onion, in my knowledge, is used for 2 main reasons. One is for an earache. And it was the first poultice that I ever did. The little old lady next door told me about it. And she said, you steam an onion. Now you either steam it or dry bake it, because if you boil it, some of the healing properties in the onion will go into the water. So you usually do it. Now my helpers very efficiently took the skin and the end off, but you actually leave all that on because that'll help to hold it together. And then when it's soft, you cut it in half, and you cut it in half crossways, so you're now looking at the rings. And what you can do is you can squeeze some of the juice from the steamed onion. It'll be boiling, and when it hits the spoon, it'll cool a little, and then you can put that into the ear, and that can bring a bit of relief. And then you wrap up the onion in a cloth. Now you can use a cloth like this, which looks like it's a cut up from an old sheet, or you could use a hand towel or a tea towel. So you wrap it over a few times, because remember, it's boiling hot. And when you get it to the right temperature, test it on your arm, then it can be placed on the ear, and then you will put a little sheet of plastic over that, which will keep the warmth in. And then you could bandage it on the ear, or you could put a little woolen beanie on to hold it there, or some people might feel to sleep and they will lay down on the ear. As long as you can keep it warm, you can keep it there. If it starts to get cold, then the ear will ache. Now this hot onion, the heat has an effect to relieve the pain, because whenever you've got pain, you've got cramping muscles, and moist heat relaxes cramping muscle, so that moist heat will do that. But also, the onion being a drawer will draw. Now sometimes the onion will cause a little hole to be made in the eardrum. If the body makes the hole, not a problem. If you stick something in your eardrum and make a hole, you got a problem. But if the body makes it, and often when the hole is made, then the pus will come out, and that can bring a lot of relief. But sometimes the onion will just reduce the inflammation to the point that the blood may take the pus away. Either way, it brings a lot of relief. Now, you might do an onion poultice on someone with an earache, and they get a lot of relief. And then a few hours later, the pain comes up again. Just do it again. You just keep doing it until there is no more ache. Sometimes one application is enough. Sometimes it needs to be done a couple of times a day for a few days. The other place that you can use a cooked onion is on a boil. That's the cooked onion. Now we're going to have a look at the raw onion. The raw onion is used often mostly for respiratory. Now you might be surprised at where I'm going to put this, or where I'm going to suggest putting this onion that I'm chopping up, and that is on the bottom of the feet for a head cold or a chest cold. You see, the biggest pores in the whole of your body are on the soles of your feet. So what you do is you get a plastic bag thus, and you put the onion in the plastic bag. And then the foot is put on the, let's say this is the foot, you put it on the onion in the plastic bag, and then twist this bag around and around and secure it, and then put a sock on. And the sock will hold it nice and firm. You want the onion on the bottom of the feet, because the biggest pores in your body are on the bottom of your feet, and the body will take the onion where it needs to go. And often it'll take it if you need it in the chest or to clear the head.
This remedy is especially effective for colds, chest infections, and localized inflammation. Cayenne pepper is well known for its circulation boosting properties. Its active compound, capsaicin, helps thin the blood, strengthens arterial walls, and alleviates pain by blocking pain signals to the brain.
You can use it internally. You can use it for a sore throat. Yes, it'll tingle at first, but once the tingling dies down, the sore throat is greatly relieved. You can use it for low hydrochloric acid. It'll wake anything up. It wakes stomachs up. You can use it externally also to bring blood to an area. And where I find it very helpful, if someone has no feeling in their feet, or they have peripheral neuropathy, and sometimes that's a side effect of having chemotherapy, or if someone continually has cold feet. Perfect health requires perfect circulation, and perfect circulation means your feet and your hands are warm. So what you do if someone has cold feet, you cannot do this treatment to them. You can do what I'm about to show you, which is a olive oil and cayenne pepper compress. Now what I've got is cling wrap down there, and I've got a double layer of kitchen paper, and I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of olive oil. You could use castor oil if you like, but olive oil will suffice. And you spread it over the area, because what you want to do is put enough olive oil on there so that the cayenne pepper will stick to it. Don't put too much olive oil on, because if you put too much olive oil on, the oil can leak out, and that's no fun on socks and sheets. So what I've done now is I've put the olive oil on like that, and now I'm going to sprinkle cayenne pepper. And what you would do is you would do about half a teaspoon to a foot. If you don't put the olive oil on there, the cayenne pepper just falls off. And then the foot goes straight on that. And that will never burn. So you see what I've done now? And you see that cayenne pepper is sticking quite nicely to the olive oil. Then you put the foot straight on there, and you put the Glad wrap over, and then you put a sock on. If you don't want that much Glad wrap on your foot, you can just end the Glad wrap a little past the kitchen paper, and you put a nice firm fitting sock on. Now if I put that on someone with good circulation, by morning their feet are very hot, but not till morning. If I put that on someone with no feeling in their feet, by morning they're telling me they've got pins and needles in their feet. For someone with very poor circulation, cold feet, it sometimes will take a few days. If I did that on my feet 2 nights in a row, I'd want my feet in ice water all day. My feet would get too hot. It's a very gentle treatment. It will never hurt, but it's a very gentle way of increasing the blood supply to the extremities.
If you're experiencing joint inflammation and back pain, ginger can be a helpful remedy. Ginger contains an anti-inflammatory compound called gingerol, which helps reduce swelling, promotes circulation, and offers natural pain relief.
So we're going to grate the ginger, and ginger is used for joint inflammation. So you use your potato for tissue inflammation, and joint inflammation you use your ginger. Ginger is a very powerful anti-inflammatory herb. And what you want to use is the juice. So there's quite a bit of juice coming out of this frozen ginger. So where you would use this, maybe this is a poultice for a toe that's got gout. Maybe this is for an arthritic finger. And can you see we've got about a ½ an inch of plastic all the way around it. And let's say a lady has a painful joint here, an arthritic joint. Then you would put it on there and then you bandage it on. Now my suggestion is if you've got any painful joints and you're going to use ginger, apply it about 6 o'clock in the evening. Because if that joint is inflamed, the skin can get very, very hot. Some people have said, Barbara, my skin's burning. I said, the good news is your skin won't burn. But if you can handle it, sleep with it. And some people say, I can't handle the heat. I said, well, just take it off. Even just being on for half an hour will take some of the inflammation out of the joint. It appears that the ginger pulls the inflammation out of the joint to the skin. Because if there's no inflammation in that joint, it won't get hot. Now, it will not hurt it, but it'll only get hot if there's inflammation in there. So very nice on lower back. If someone's got a sore lower back, they'll often put a hot water bottle on it and it'll bring a little bit of relief. Now, if they've got a sore back, there's usually inflammation there. And if they put a hot water bottle on it, it's not good for the inflammation. It can increase the inflammation. So why does it bring relief? Whenever you're in pain, the muscles cramp. And you put a hot water bottle on your back, it relaxes the cramping muscles. So it brings relief because of that. Now, putting a ginger poultice, if you put a ginger poultice on the lower back, you would make it about the size that I made the potato. So if you put a ginger poultice on your lower back, and what I say is put on your lower back and you can tape it on, and often your pants will hold it there, and you lie on your back with your knees in the air, you know, your knee up and your foot down so that the lower back goes flat. And it presses that against the lower back. Within half an hour, you start to feel the heat. And the heat from the inflamed joint coming out to the skin, that heat relaxes the muscle, and yet it's reducing the inflammation. So it brings a lot of relief.
The humble potato is more than a pantry staple. It's a remedy for tissue inflammation. Rich in potassium and phosphorus, a grated potato poultice cools inflamed areas, reduces swelling, and hydrates the skin.
There are areas in the body you would not put onion, and you would not put ginger, and you would not put garlic, but the gentle potato. So where are those areas? In the tender parts of the body. So your eyes. It's very calming and cooling for inflamed eyes, conjunctivitis, sprained ankle. In fact, that's what we put on Zaza when she sprained her ankle yesterday, was the grated potato. The grated potato is very cooling, so if you've got an inflamed red area, the potato, because it's high in phosphorus and potassium, the skin absorbs that, and because it's very alkaline, it neutralizes the acid condition, cools it, and it can draw out and reduce the inflammation. Now, the way I make my poultices is mess-free. That's what I like, mess-free. So I wrap up Glad Wrap a few times, and what I'm aiming for with my poultice is that I've got a little bit more plastic around the edge of my poultice. So I put that down, and then I put the cloth that I'm going to make the poultice on down, and then I grate it. But this has a... So you can grate it straight onto the cloth. Now, I'm not sure what you call these in America. We call them Chuck's cloths. I guess that's the brand name. But I guess you call them a cleaning cloth, yeah? And they're disposable, and they've got little holes in them. If someone had breast cancer, I wouldn't use this, but if someone had a swollen ankle or a sprained ankle, it would be fine to use for that. Be very careful you don't use too much potato, because if you use too much potato, the poultice can get very wet, and if the poultice leaks, is no fun. So you spread that out a little bit. So can you see how much I've put on here? And now I'm going to fold it over, which is how you make the poultice. You fold over two sides, like that, and then you fold over the other two sides. So I now have a package. And now I turn it over, because where you put the poultice on, you're going to put it on that side that just has one layer. So can you see how much plastic I've got around my poultice? Now let's say that I just sprained my wrist and it was all swollen. Then I would put it on like this. And see how the plastic just covers it a little bit. I don't like too much plastic on my skin, but it just covers it. And then you could bandage that on. And if the tissue's swelling, you would wrap it on and keep it on all night, or keep it on for a few hours. Potato is used for tissue inflammation. So there's your sprained ankle. It can be for an ingrown toenail.
Castor oil is a detoxifying wonder. Packed with ricinoleic acid, it reduces inflammation, improves circulation, and stimulates the lymphatic system. Warm castor oil poultices are excellent for relieving joint pain, muscle tension, or detoxifying areas like the liver.
Now, castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil, and wherever castor oil penetrates, it breaks up lumps, bumps, congestion, adhesion. It will break up a bone spur. If the bone spur has been there 3 years, it may take 3 months to break it up. If it's been there 3 months, it may take 3 weeks. If it's been there 3 weeks, it might only take 3 days. So it all depends how long it's been there. But the key is consistency. Now, this is really not a poultice, it's a compress. And as a compress, it's not drawing anything out of you. It's a vehicle. This little pad is a vehicle to hold the oil so that it'll penetrate into you. So every day you might apply the poultice or the compress, and after you've finished, you might fold it over, and then the next day open it up, put a little bit more oil and apply it again. So you can use it for tumours, you can use it for cysts. I met a lady who told me she'd conquered her breast cancer by castor oil, wearing the castor oil compresses. Some people sleep with them. You can certainly have it on overnight. Some people would rather be a little bit freer at night and just let it sit in their clothes. But you need to have a plastic backing, because the castor oil could soil the clothes, but done properly it will never soil. So what you do is you put a circle on in the middle. So I'll show you what I've done here. So the little castor oil pack is about this big, the plastic is about that big, and I've put approximately this much castor oil on. And because it's so thick, it's sitting above the pack. And as it slowly soaks through, it'll go out to about that much. And then when it goes on your warm body, it'll go out a little bit more. Can you see that? So if you do it correctly, it's not going to leak and get on everything, because there's nothing worse than castor oil on the sheets or on your clothes. We're letting that sit so that it can soak in. So where would you put that? You would put that on a bone spur, you would put that on sometimes even a sore wrist, joints, you can put it on for that. One lady had very sore knees and found that that made a big difference. You could put it on a congested chest. If it's winter and a person's got a congested chest, obviously you'd make a little bit bigger for that. You may then put a hot water bottle on, and that would help to warm up your poultice. Mostly the body will warm it up, but if the person's got a cold and they'd like it to be warmed quickly, you can do that. It can be used on the abdomen for constipation. It'll penetrate deep and break up congestion in there. So castor oil can be used just about anywhere. It can help to break up gallstones in the gallbladder. It can help to revive the liver. So your liver, your gallbladder is under your right rib, so you would do it to that area. It applied to the kidneys, it can help break up kidney stones. And so there's a whole lot of areas that you can use castor oil. I don't advise you take it by mouth. It can be a little irritating there. But topically, used externally, it can have quite a powerful effect.
Charcoal might just be nature's ultimate detoxifier. It neutralizes toxins, reduces inflammation, and prevents infection. Ideal for insect bites, bee stings, or even poison exposure, a charcoal poultice can save the day.
Now the last we're going to look at is charcoal. Charcoal is a remarkable substance because charcoal can absorb up to, I think it's the figures are about 150 times its own weight in poisons. Now charcoal is unique in that it not only absorbs poison, it neutralizes poison. That's a very important point. So you can use it internally for any poisoning, or you can use it internally for diarrhea. And a lot of people will travel with charcoal now when they go to Asia. You can actually get charcoal tablets. You can use charcoal externally for bee stings, wasp bites, spider bites, snake bites. But when you mix charcoal with water, it's like mixing dirt with water. So I'm going to mix it because I'm all for no mess, and charcoal's very messy. So I'm going to mix it with psyllium. You can also mix it with ground flax, but it's a pity I'd rather eat the flax. So I'm going to do it with psyllium, and you can use equal amounts of psyllium. So we're going to do 2 psyllium, and we're going to do 2 charcoal. Now this poultice that I'm making, it can be used on sore eyes. It can be used on bee stings, any type of stings, wasp stings. It's quite incredible the way it takes the pain out almost immediately. So I'm going to mix that a little bit, and then I'm going to put water in. Now if I were to mix this in a bowl, then we'd have terrible trouble trying to get the black out of our bowl. But if you mix it in something like this, there's a few pluses. One is it's not going to be messy, and I do this when I'm cooking, I guess. Now you seal it up, and then you mix. Mix, 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 mix. And as it all mixes together, you can spread it out, and it'll start to take a bit of form because that's what the psyllium does. It sort of goes like a soft jelly, I suppose. So you're massaging it all around, making sure it's all quite well mixed, mixing out any lumps. And because it now goes like a soft jelly, you can actually roll it out like this into the bag. So can you see that how it's rolled out? And now that is set now. And I'm just getting a bit more air out of it. So it's nice and smooth. And that's taken up the whole of that plastic bag. And I'll just get a bit more air out. See now, you see what I've got now? Now you can put that in the fridge. Someone's got a bee sting. You run in here, you get scissors and you cut a square, cut the top, peel it off, take it up and slap it straight on the bee sting. So it's very, very handy. And when you put it on the bee sting, remember what you do, you cut out the size you want and then cut the top plastic off, so you're putting the charcoal straight onto the skin and it's got a plastic backing and then you can just tape it on. So every house should have this in the fridge.
Barbara O'Neill's remedies remind us that nature often holds the answers to our health concerns. From the anti-inflammatory power of onions to the detoxifying properties of charcoal, these poultices are simple yet highly effective. While they're not a replacement for professional medical care, they're excellent for treating everyday issues like joint pain, poor circulation, or minor wounds. Start with these remedies, and you might just find yourself skipping the trip to the pharmacy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more natural health tips. If you enjoyed this video, check out this next video to learn how to make cough syrup.